Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi everybody, my name is David Meyer, and I'm with Minis by Meyer. I am a miniature painter. Excuse the condition on my desk. I'm going to be getting a new one of these soon. These little work pads that I have. So, looks like I've got some lag on my screen, so bear with me as it catches up. So there we go. Alright, so I'm going to get a new mat here in a couple of weeks. I'm also working on getting a microphone, so my audio's a little rough, so bear with me. But again, my name is David. I'm a Minis by Meyer, commission painter, as well as I guess a miniature teacher, miniature painting teacher. I have some classes, basic classes going on here at my house this weekend, so it's a lot of fun to do that. So, but I want to thank everybody for being here, taking a look at this. I am new to this, so bear with me. As far as doing this kind of stuff. This is, I think, my 4th episode as far as tutorials. I try to stream at least 2 to 3 times a week. Otherwise, outside the tutorials, last couple of weeks I haven't done so because I've had a lot of connectivity action and so forth. Without further ado, tonight's tutorial Tuesday is painting yellow. Now, if you painted miniatures in for any short amount of time, you've come across the color yellow and how much of a challenge it can be to paint yellow. Yellow is difficult. It is up there with white. And I've got my ways. A lot of different artists have different ways. I've pulled ideas from other artists and so forth. So there's a plethora of ways to paint yellow out there. I'm just going to show you the way that I do it. I'm actually going to show you 2 ways that I do it tonight. One of them will be just kind of a, hey, this is how I started, this is how I finished, and it's the airbrush method. And then the other is just regular hand brush method. So that's what I'm going to do. So without further ado, first off, I'm going to show you what the airbrush method, how it starts out, and then I'm going to get into what it looks like when you're done with the airbrush method. The airbrush method is really cool, it's really nice, but here's the products I use for the airbrush method. First of all, I do all my tutorials on Green Army Men. That's what I have here. So, and I prime them, and I paint, and I do all my tutorials on those. It's cheaper for me to do that because I am a very, very, very small business. So I do this on the side and so forth. So anyway, so what I do is I start out with, this is for yellow. I start out painting it, priming it pink. So the pink primer is this primer. This is an airbrush product. It's from Badger. It's Stynylrez pink primer. As you can see, this is the color. Okay. Nice pink. Now you're thinking pink, yellow, what in the world? It shocked me, but I tried it. I was given this idea from another artist. You can see the method used. I picked it up from Goobertown Hobbies, so I'm going to give him credit for this, but this is how I do it with an airbrush. You get really dazzling results with this. If you don't have an airbrush, we'll get to that in a minute. But so the first thing is I paint it pink, and it's just like off pink color, you will. But anyway, so after you do that, and then what I do is I come in with an airbrush ink, and then I shade it from one direction with another ink. It's a magenta color, or it's a muted pink. I call it magenta. It's kind of a, this is Liquitex. So what I did was, you can see it on here, is I airbrush it from this angle to kind of give it a shade. Okay, so I airbrush it all from one angle where I wanted the shadow, and then under here you can see it. Okay, and then after I use that, I come in with white, just airbrush white ink. Okay, FW ink, nothing amazing. You can get these, I think, for like $4 or $5 a bottle, and I've had this thing for about a year and a half, and I use it quite a lot. The inks last a while, and they're such vibrant colors. Anyway, so the white, I spray from this angle. You can actually see it on there, okay? So, and I spray it from this direction. So it's the opposite of the magenta, the opposite direction of the magenta. So white over the top to the brighter side, and the magenta to the darker side. So it gives you the shadow. Now, when I'm done with this, I let it dry and kind of let it sit and let it just sit, okay? When I'm ready, I'm going to load up my airbrush with this last color. And I've used this one quite a lot. This one's almost empty, but this is the FW Indian Yellow, okay? Indian Yellow, okay? It's an ink as well. And I airbrush the entire thing. And this is how it looks when it comes out. Okay? Real nice, like a brown, orange here, nice shadows under here, so forth. So, and then up here, here's where the white was. I did this one exactly the same. See? And this is how it comes out. Really, really nice, really vibrant looking yellow. This is an airbrush method. Now, I have not tried to use the ink over this, the yellow ink over this with a brush. I'm sure it would work the same. I'm fairly certain it would. It's no different than other than just the application. But yeah, that's how this comes out. It's the airbrush method. It is gorgeous. So now the other method you could use, I'm not going to talk about that tonight, but you could use contrast paints, and that's the yellow. And there's a one that's called Eander yellow. I'm not going to cover that tonight in Eander yellow, but this is it. You could do that over a white primer and be done with it. You get something that looks kind of like this. I did this a little over a year ago. Looks pretty nice. It's a nice yellow. I like it. It's good. Does the job. So this is Eander yellow. So it's really good. So, but anyway, all right. So now you want to paint yellow. So this is what we're going to start with. We're going to start with a brown paint. Brown, okay? Now brown is one of those colors that really can feed into a lot of different colors. It can go into red, it can go into yellow, it can go into orange, it can go obviously into black. So those just kind of throwing things out there. You can use it as a shade for any one of those colors. But what we need to do is, see, the thing about yellow is it's very transparent. It's almost as transparent as white. And that's what you deal with, is you need to have something that's going to have a strong background to it. Now you can go in and paint it black, and I've done that. But it's really difficult to build up yellow over black, because black is so strong in what it does, and yellow is so translucent. So what I have to do is I have to go in and start building up to yellow. Now, if you've seen the other tutorial where I had to build up to white, I had to do the same thing. So, thank you for the follow. What is that? Fragilitas. So, okay. So I have four colors here. I have Xandri Dust from Citadel. I have Flash Gets Yellow. I have Uriel Yellow and Phalanx Yellow. Now this is airbrush, but I'm going to use it right on the bottom. We can use it right on the brush. So, all right, so we're going to get started. I'm going to start with the Xandri Dust. So you do have to tone down the brown that I have on here. This brown is an ink that I use. You don't have to, you can use any brown you've got. It can be a little bit lighter than that. That's okay. No problem on that. So we're going to start with brown. Brown is a good way to go to start with yellow, as opposed to with white, you start with a gray and work up. So we're doing Iyanden, or what am I saying? This is Xandri Dust. Okay. Now, for the purpose of this tutorial, it is only going to be one side of the figure that I'm painting. Always add your water. Okay. All right. Make sure your paint is thin enough. There we go. So I'm not really going to be too picky on the details with this guy. Just want to show you how to build up to a yellow color. Let's see. In fact, when I'm going to show you what yellow does on the helmet, if you do not build up to the yellow color, I'm going to show you how it's difficult to do that. Very challenging. And be quite frustrating. Yeah, I'm not going to paint the helmet with this color. I'm just going to leave it the brown, and I'm going to cover it with just a regular yellow. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Again, I'm not being very neat. The importance of this lesson is that we learn how to build to the color. See, all you're trying to do is provide opacity. Opacity? Is that well, correct me where I'm wrong, but all you're trying to do is build up opacity and dilute the darkness of the darkness. What am I talking about? You're trying to tone down the original color and lift it up to the yellow color. Okay, so that was Xandri Dust from Citadel. So, again, got any questions, please ask in the chat. I'll definitely answer your question, and I'll do my best to catch up. Any comments? So I'm going to go ahead and grab the yellow. I'm going to grab this phalanx yellow. I'm just going to go right to the helmet with this. Shake it up. This is how yellow performs. Now I don't need to add water to this one. This is airbrush ready. Okay, I'm just going to paint the helmet. So you see, it's very runny. It has nothing to do with the fact that this is an air paint. It is just how yellow performs. The pigment does not, I don't know the science behind it, but from what I understand, the pigment is just, how I get it is it doesn't bond with the solution is what I heard. The paint solution, hey, I'm talking out of my league now, so. But as you can see, it's not very good, and as it dries, it gets really blotchy. Down here, you have a nice coat. I probably need another one. I'm just going to hit a couple more spots so it's nice and thick. Now, I could probably hit that again with another yellow. Yes, you could. But it's going to do the same thing. Yellow is just a pain. You'll ask any miniature painter. Yellow and white are some of the most difficult colors to paint with. I'm going to leave the yellow lemon hat on it. All right, so letting that dry. We're going to move over to a actual yellow color. This is Flash Gitz yellow. You know what? No. Uriel yellow. We need to start with a darker yellow. I like this yellow. It's really nice. Probably should do Everland Sunset. Matter of fact, I'm going to grab that. We're going to do Everland Sunset first. Everland is a somewhat yellow to a brown. So we're going to go ahead and put that on there. And this is an air paint, so I'm not going to worry about adding any water to it. And the name of the paint is Everland Sunset. Okay. All right. Yeah, see, that yellow is already so blotchy looking, it just doesn't look good. Now I am going to coat the helmet again in that same yellow. Every coat that I do with this, I'm going to do that. Same thing with the helmet. And I'm not being neat, just for the purpose of this tutorial. Okay. Next up, another coat on the helmet. Still streaky. Still streaky. I can still see the brown underneath it. I don't see the brown hardly at all underneath this. I see the brown underneath the helmet. See? Not looking good by comparison. So it's 2 coats each. Granted, now I did do 2 coats of that, but all right, so that was Everland Sunset. We are going to move over to, now we'll do the Uriel Yellow. Now this is not airbrush ready, so I will be adding a little water to it. Okay. Gotta let it sit for a minute. All right, we're gonna go ahead and paint the Uriel Yellow on it. Oh, did I lose my music or something? Oh, there it is. The yellow's really starting to pop now. Really nice and bright. There we go. going to go back to this yellow. Still streaky. Still can see some of the brown underneath it. Okay. So far, so good. So that was Uriel yellow. Now we're going to head over to Flashgitz yellow. We're getting brighter. Now I can stop here. You can stop right here. But we're not. We're going to keep going. But what I'm going to do a little bit different is I'm actually going to try to highlight the top, the shoulders, just the elbows and stuff with the Flashgitz yellow. That's it. Just going to do some high points. And then I'm going to do the phalanx yellow a little bit more extreme. Okay? So we're building up to our yellows now, our more highlight yellows now. Now, this would be the yellow we want. This is a good yellow. I call this, it's a nice school bus yellow. It's really nice. It's got a nice flat look. I could probably paint another coat of yellow on there, but I'm not going to alter that at all. So, all right, Flashgitz. Now, Flashgitz is a kind of an odd yellow color. It, at times, has a green tint to it. At times. At least to me. Which is weird. But it is it's named after an orc thing, so. Alright, so we're going to do the tops. See, there we go. You're only hitting high stuff. Just messing around with our colors. Just trying to push our highlights up. Just hitting the high points. That's it. Okay. There's a yellow. Right on the top. Now we're going to go ahead and hit him on the helmet. There it is again. Still can see the helmet underneath. It's transparent. All that. It's like I've added the same number of coats that I have here. This yellow is far more prominent than that one. Okay? Now we're moving to the final color. So we're going to go to our extreme yellow. And I already have this down there. And this is the phalanx yellow. This is a very bright canary yellow. But yeah. So that's the color that's on the helmet. This is the color that's on the helmet. And we're going to apply it to just the extreme highs. Oops. Okay. I'm painting this like I'm using oils practically. All right. Well, that's it. This is a hand-painted yellow. Very nice. I guess I should go ahead and paint the top. Okay, so it filled in now finally. Same level amount of coats. So still a little bit transparent, but we didn't even highlight it yet. Well, of course, it is a more extreme color, but you could highlight it a little bit more. But how hard it was to get this to start to fill in, and it's still not completely filled in. Still not. So, but yeah, that's the yellow, hand painted. It's even highlighted. Now, again, I painted this like I was using oils, kind of blotchy, but that's the important thing is the layering of the colors is what we're teaching here. The building up to the color of yellow, okay? The helmet is done just in one color, multicolors. And to go over the colors again I used, I started off with a brown ink, dark brown ink. Then I went to Zandri Dust. And I went to Everland Sunset, Uriel Yellow, Flash Gits Yellow, and Phalanx Yellow. And then for the other method, which I got this yellow, which is very nice. Lurk, hey, Crossforge. We got Stynylrez Primer, pink, shaded for the shadows, magenta pink, more of them, yeah, magenta, and then white for highlights, zenith highlight, then airbrush, all that is airbrush, of course, and then the final airbrush part is the Indian yellow. So, but that is the tutorial Tuesday for painting yellow. As difficult as this color can be, I hope that this is helpful to you. If you got any comments or questions or anything like that, please comment below. This video will be posted to my YouTube channel at Minis by Meyer. That's where you can find me, as well as on Facebook, as well as Instagram at Minis by Meyer. You can also email me at minisbymeyer@hotmail.com.